10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. We are from Grade Economy Syariah from IAIN Pekalongan. My name is Swati. My name Nurul Naziza. My name Rifqatul Ulya. My name Dewi Sakiti. My name Siti Ayamina. My name Nika Aryani. In this section, we want to explain about Islamic economic and product of Islamic economic finance.
I want to explain about Islamic economics. Islamic economics is a term used to refer to Islamic commercial jurisprudence or fikih al-muamalah, and also to an ideology of economic based on the teaching of Islam that takes a middle ground between the system of Marxism and capitalism.
Islamic commercial jurisprudence entails the rulers of transacting finance or other economic activity in a Sharia-compliant manner, a manner conforming to Islamic scripture or Quran and Sunnah. Islamic jurisprudence or fiqh has traditionally dealt with determining what is required, prohibited, encouraged, discouraged, or just permissible, according to the revealed word of God or Quran and the religious practice established by the Islamic prophet or Sunnah. This applies to issues like property, money, employment, tax, along with everything else. The social science of economic, on the other hand, studied how to best achieve certain policy goals, such as full employment, price stability, economic equity, and productivity growth.
My name is Rika Aryani. I want to explain about short story of Islamic economy. In the mid-20th century, campaigns began promoting the idea of specifically Islamic patterns of economic thought and behavior. By the 1970s, Islamic economy was introduced as an academic discipline in a number of institutions of higher learning throughout the Muslim world and in the West. The central features of an Islamic economy are often summarized as 1. The behavioral norm and moral foundation derived from the Quran and Sunnah. 2. Collection of zakat and other Islamic taxes. 3. Prohibition of interest or riba charged on loans. Advocates of Islamic economy generally describe it as neither socialist nor capitalist, but as a threadway and ideal means with none of the drawback of the other two systems. Among the claims made for an Islamic economic system by Islamic activists and revivalists are that the gap between the rich and the poor will be reduced and prosperity enhanced by such means as the discouraging of the hoarding of wealth, taxing wealth, or through zakat but not trade, exposing lenders to risk through profit sharing and venture capital, discouraging of hoarding of food for speculation, and other sinful activities such as unlawful confiscation of land.
My name is Rifqatul Ulya. I want to explain about part of Islamic finance for dummies cheat sheet.
In accordance with Islamic law, Islamic financial products are based on specific types of contract that Sharia compliant. Contracts support productive economic activities without breaking key Islamic principles. As some controversial financial products Do Sharia-compliant contract cannot create debt, cannot inflate the payment of interest, and must provide for a sharing of risk and responsibility between the involved parties. To be valid, an Islamic contract must feature subject matter that is lawful, has value for a Muslim, and is specific enough to avoid uncertainties. The service or asset descriptive in the contract generally must exist when the contract is being created, must be owned by the seller, hence probability short save of stock, for example, and must be deferrable.
Is Nurul Mazizah. I want to explain about the commonly the contract is Islamic finance.
Here are some of the most commonly used contracts in Islamic finance. Contract of partnership allow two or more parties to develop wealth by sharing goods and return. First, mudaraba. One party gives money to another party which invests it in a business or economic activity, but parties share any profit made from the investment are based on a pre-agreed ratio, but only the investor loses money if the investment flops. The fund manager loses the value of the team and effort it dedicated to the investment. However, the fund manager assumes financial responsibility if the loss results from its negligence. Second, musaraka. This contract creates a joint venture in which both parties profit investment capital, entrepreneurial skill, and labor. Both share the profit and or loss of the activity.
I want to explain about contract of change.
Contract of change are sales contracts that allow for the transfer of a commodity for another commodity, the transfer of a commodity for money, or the transfer of money for money. Number 1. Murabaha. In this cost-plus contract, an Islamic financial institution sells a commodity to a buyer for its cost plus the profit margin, and both parties know the cost and the profit in advance. The buyer makes difference payment. Number 2. Salam. In this forward contract, the buyer or an Islamic financial institution on behalf of the buyer pay for goods in full in advance, and the goods are delivered in the future. The last but not least is Tisna. The second type of forward sale contract allows an Islamic financial institution to buy a project on behalf of the buyer that is under instruction and will be complete and delivered on the future date.
My name is Swati. I want to explain about contract of safety and security. Contract of safety and security are often used by Islamic banks. These contracts help individual or business customer to keep their funds safe.
Number 1 is Wadia. Wadia is a property owner gives property to another party for the purpose of safeguarding. In Islamic banks, current or checking accounts and saving accounts. Number 2 is Hiwala. Debt is transferred from one debtor to another. After the debt is transferred to the second debtor, the first debtor is free from her obligation. This contract is used by Islamic financial institutions to remit money between people. Number 3 is kafala. A third party accepts an existing obligation and becomes responsible of fulfilling someone's liability. In conventional finance, this situation is called surety or guarantee. The last but not least is rahan. A property is pledged against an obligation. A customer can offer collateral or a pledge via a rahan contract in order to secure a financial liability.
From the explanation about Islamic economic finance and the products of Islamic economic finance, we can conclude that the differential between Islamic economic finance and the conventional finance is among the plans made for Islamic economic finance by Islamic activists and revivalists are that the gap between rich and poor will be reduced and prosperity enhanced by such means as discouraging of hoarding of wealth, the taxing wealth through zakat but not risk, exposing lenders to risk, profit sharing, and venture capital, discouraging of forced speculation and other sinful activities such as unlawful occupation of land. I think it's enough.
Membayangkanmu di depanku,
Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
mempesanku dan ku terdiam.